fatal thought impact, past painful thoughts. In fact, I blast tasteful thoughts and past. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now. Whenever we last left off, with this series, quite a bit of things have happened. Deku, he brought back survivors who were heading to Mars to start a colony. They were shortly put in cryostasis after Earth's destruction. And Deku, yeah. He brought them back to the planet and informed his people of what happened to Earth. And while people, they were obviously distraught by it and it messed with them quite a bit, there were people who didn't really expect or believe Deku. However, once given the folder and file with the information, people, they seemed to understand this isn't some sort of sick joke. This is the truth. And while that was hard for many people to understand and even recognize, Deku, he did at least inform everybody that there is one way how to deal with this. The people who did this, they're going to try and do this to many other planets. Deku at least showing images of a few other planets, expressing that this happened to this civilization, this one here and this one here. Deku explaining, all these civilizations, including their own, have all been treated the same way. They were off on their own, and then people show up who destroy it. Now, Deku, he is obviously lying just a bit. Deku knows, expressing to them that the people who did this created them. He's not too sure if he should explain that. He feels like everybody, they need to at least have time to process this information first. Hell, he learned about this, and he freaked the fuck out. The doctors learned about this, they're still freaking the fuck out. His team learned about this, and they were freaking out. All of it at once will be a complete shock. However, Deku, he does explain to them that the people who did this created them. And everybody, yeah. That's also another thing Deku, he feels they should know. Since, hey, the people who we would call our gods because they create us, they killed us. However, now let's get them back. That's basically what Deku's doing to them. And while certain humans, they were obviously needing to take time, Deku did at least give them copies of yautja in their language, as that was surprising to them. And Deku expressed that this is a universal language for them now, and it will allow them to contact or even really talk to other colonists with a different language, even though they probably at least know a little bit about it or enough of it to get by a conversation with them. Now, with that being said, we do currently have at least a few months later, where Deku and his team, they've gotten a lot more things set up. Humans, agriculture-wise, currently, they're thriving. Yes, they have a certain pesticides and at least the basics for caring about a farm. However, a certain number of their crops, let's say 45% of them, they were either dead or at least infested by certain bugs, and even may have contained bacteria that would have been harmful to digest or even consume. And that's something that Deku, yeah, thanks to the help, they've been able to shrink that number down to about an average of 2 to 5%. And it's been doing a whole lot better. Even the distilleries and certain electricity they were using around the place has improved. Everything's just overall more effective and more efficient. And then there was another thing. These colonists, they were bringing freeze-dried embryos of animals. They were going to start farms here. it seems so, well, just crazy. They can literally raise cattle on this planet. Cows, chicken, pigs, you name it. They can exist here. However, that's not something Deku is too sure about. Technically, these animals would be good, but there's a problem. If they get out in the ecosystem, hell, they can use passive animals for right now, but if they end up accidentally bringing a species here that is invasive, it could cause problems if it's predatory. Deku, he did at least explain this to everybody, and they did at least go to take precautions around this. Since, let's be honest, two of the doctors there, one that is an expert in biology in animals, and one who they do at least know what environmental stability needs to be like for certain regions, they would advise against that. They will follow that rule Deku has laid out, since there's no way they can tell how they would affect an alien ecosystem, especially where that ecosystem still needs to be studied and learned about. If there are certain ways to integrate an animal into this ecosystem, that would be good, but at the same time, they'd have to be careful with it. It would have to be a passive animal, maybe. Or maybe they just need to not mess with it entirely, since that can also be a problem they could cause. And with that, we do currently have back with Deku. Deku, he's currently running through an area. As you do have where, while he's doing so, he doesn't have any of his gear with him. He is in some training pants, and that's just about it. He has no shoes on either. And you do have where, whenever he does come to a stop, he does go to turn and look around, since he heard something. And the moment Deku he actually does go to turn and hear something, he does go to bring his hand up. Him going to grab the wooden stick out of the air, as he does go to spin around and get ready. The moment this attack does come at him, you do have for Deku does go to drop the stick on the ground, and go to turn backwards and kick directly outwards as hard as he can. Deku sending somebody flying who's in body armor. As the moment this does happen, you do have where Deku, he is then attacked by 3 different people. They all do come charging at him with knives. And whenever Deku he does go to jump directly under one, he does go to reach up and go to grab this person by their kneecap. Deku grabbing them by the back of it before directly going to spin backwards and throw his body weight down. Deku being able to smash the guy directly into the ground before going to turn to the 2. The moment both of them do go to charge him, Deku does go to throw his hands backwards or throw his hands up while he does throw himself backwards. Him being able to catch both of them by their wrist before, after at least a quick squeeze and turn, they do go to drop the knives. Deku being able to take them from both of their hands before going to slash them across the person's throats. Now, the moment Deku he does go to do that, you do have where the 2 people behind him now, they do go to drop onto the ground. And they are currently clutching their wrist. As Deku does turn to them and explain. And that is why they are not combat effective yet. Okay, point proven. Did you actually have to hit us that hard? Yes. Besides, we keep running these drills. You haven't gotten anywhere, but it's at least good to know that you can get the jump on me like that. When you guys work together, you are a very good team. Okay, fine, but did you really have to kick me that hard? Deku turned to the guy in body armor. Since Deku did go to turn, that guy is currently laying against a tree. Oh. Shit. I probably should have held back with that one. Yeah, maybe. Now, Deku, after they do help that guy up to his feet, they do walk over to the area where you do have the new place for the humans. The pen has been expanded quite a little bit to meet certain needs. Since they did have to basically uproot and go and take the area, the farms in to a different spot. Since they harvested from that soil too much. And currently it's basically going dead. Since it doesn't have enough nutrients to keep making more plants. And whenever they did at least go to change locations, they noticed an increase in how fast the stuff would grow. It did also at least have where Deku, he was told by a military commander, or at least their military officer on board, that they need an area where they can train and study the wilderness of this spot. And the resident biologist also did at least go to agree to this request, since they talked about how they would need it. And the area the humans are in, it went from being at least 75 miles across and 25 in between. It's now gone to about 100 by 100. And Deku, he's quite happy about this. They've been able to put up more pylons and start producing a lot more things. In fact, the Yautja Elder, he's actually a bit more okay and open to some of Deku's suggestions, especially for the way he does run the Terran. Now, Deku, he does wonder about that phrase. He doesn't remember where anybody came up with it. He doesn't even really know the origin of it. But at least it did feel right. The humans, they haven't currently done anything to earn a good name for themselves. You can't call them something simple or cool because some of the Yautja names do translate that way. However, Deku, he found that the Terran clan, it may just be simple. It may sound boring, but whenever Deku was asked why that specific name, when explaining it, it did sound at least more humble. They haven't earned an actual name. And many people, upon hearing about this, they did at least keep their eyes towards the humans, since these ones, they don't seem to be cocky. Now, with that, we do at least have where Deku, whenever he does walk over to an area that would be a restaurant, he does ask for something, before going to bring up a piece of dried meat and go to set it down onto the table. So is that all you're trading? Oh, come on. This stuff here, it's pretty good. I got it from a flying bird myself. Oh, right, you're Scar. You're not wearing your mask. Yeah, I know. I also did shave. Really? Gotta say, you're quite the nice looking guy. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, Deku going to grab the bottle before he's going to turn and walk off. The woman there, at least turning to her friend and talking about how that guy was the one who talked to everyone, wasn't he? Was he? Yeah, he was wearing human clothes. What? Yeah, he's actually kind of a nice looking guy. Really? Yeah, especially when he cleans up. Now, Deku, yeah. He's kind of been made aware of a lot more things. Apparently, whenever you dress like a human and act like one, people, they think you may not be a super strong and, well, focused psychopath. And while that's something interesting Deku has noted, him walking up the ramp to his ship, as he does go to walk inside and go to sit down, he does go to think. It's kind of interesting. If only people actually knew. Knew what, Scar? Deku turning and seeing a key. Nothing. It's just things have been going good for the humans. Yeah, the Terran clan's been doing very well. Yup. So, what'd you do today? Not much. I assisted a group of young bloods. Really? Yeah. My father's still insisting that even though they're part of our clan, they really do not train with the humans. I see. He doesn't want us rubbing off on them, do we? He kind of sees it as more like you've marked some of his people already and they weren't supposed to be on hunts. Yeah, I know. But still, we haven't found anything yet. About the traitor? Yeah. Pen's been relatively silent, hasn't it? Well, it's been good. Your hunters, they explained to me. They've been doing okay. My people haven't even gotten back to me. Apparently, they don't know what's happened. They've looked into every yautja they can. Hmm? Really? Yes. In fact, it's quite alarming to me. So, we're either dealing with a yautja we can't figure out because they're a high-ranking hunter and they know exactly what to do, what to avoid. It could be that. Or, I don't know. A lot more people could be in on it. Security officers and even security themselves. The people who actually aren't trained, they could also be part of it. We don't know. That's the problem. Ha, was afraid of that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It seems like any time we get ahead somewhere, something messes up. We had that thing with our water filtration a while back, and that at least for sure secured that something was going on with the yautja. I know. Everyone's on edge. But there's a problem though. Everybody can account for where they were. That's still not right. I know. I know. It just doesn't seem like anyone's doing anything wrong. So this probably runs deeper than we think. Maybe, but there's also that one theory you posed. Yeah, I know. The idea that this is your dad trying to get us to be independent. I don't like that theory either. Besides, I'd rather at least not have to try and separate you two in the same type of way. I understand, Scar. If you start casting suspicion on him, you start casting it on me. You explained it to me. Okay. Trust is a very weird thing with humans. I know. Besides, your theory does at least add up. It's the reason why people aren't saying anything at all to each other, why no one's reporting on it, why nobody is even chasing down leads, or why none have been found. Because they're all covering for each other and deleting evidence. It's a solid theory, Scar, but one we cannot prove. Yeah, I know. Besides, we've at least started getting things better. More people are blooded hunters, and more people are actually learning and speaking yautja now. Yep. I gotta say, though, even one of your, well, commanders, they do start to speak yautja at least somewhat decently. Do they? I haven't really been around too much to explain or talk to them. They're leading their own group of people in training. At least starting with the ones who have mostly at least good improvements. I'm stuck with the ones who aren't really too good. They're still doing basic things. Well, Scar, do you think that you should at least talk to that commander? That guy? I don't know. He runs things like a drill sergeant. My dad always talked about people like him. He never said they were really too good. Yeah, they're asses and jackasses most of the time, but even then, some of them, they're hit or miss. Nicest people you ever meet, or an asshole. And so far from what I know about that guy, asshole. Are you really just gonna make that assumption? Yeah. I asked the resident therapist about it, and she said that was just him. Thera what? It's a human thing. Some human don't have mental fortitude that's very strong. And, well, others, they get broken down over a certain period. It's hard to explain, but it's the way the human mind works. Through constant experience and exposure to certain things, we can just tire out. Sometimes we can trick our minds into thinking certain ways, or a lot more complicated mumbo jumbo. It's just a whole thing. Hell, people needed one after we told them everything, so we had to wake them up, and then tell them everything. Christ, that was fucking stupid. But still, at least people are back on track. Now we only got a few more people that we can do anything with. God, it's just so stressful. I know, Scar. Besides, leading the entire Terran clan, I get you're under a lot of pressure. Her actually is going to grab Deku and talk to him, expressing that while he may be dealing with quite a bit of things, maybe for the next hour or so he can relax. Yeah, maybe. Besides, I'm at least. My mind's all scattered today. There's too much shit going on. I hate to admit it. I love saying those words, but I hate it now. Hell, at first there was nothing to do here, and now there's just so much to do. Hmm. Oh no, the great leader Scar. He seems to be overwhelmed. Does he need to call a therapist? That was your attempt at a joke. It was stupid. It got you to smile. I know. You're getting better at humor. And sarcasm. Well, that was a given. At least every yautja knows a form of it. To be fair, yeah, realized it as soon as I said it. You kinda need it. Yeah, but maybe you need something too. Oh, I see where you're going with this. Yeah, Scar, you haven't taken a day off in a while, have you? Ever since you've told everybody you've just been running around crazy. I know you haven't been sleeping too well, and I know you haven't really been too focused on relaxing, but you need it, don't you? Yeah, yeah. But it's just, ever since we got back, I feel like I need to do everything. I feel like I need to just go hunting again, fight again. I went stir crazy in this ship. I mean, hell, I want to go back down there and, well, I just don't want to be on this vessel anymore. But it's the only place we get privacy. The only place where people really wouldn't pry. I know, I know. Hell, I already know how my father would react if he found out. And you are well aware as to what he might do too. You've expressed very vividly exactly your thoughts on my father, and exactly what you said he might hang in his trophy room. Yeah, I feel like it's a very, very reasonable and rational fear, especially for a man who collects trophies. And, I collect them too. Yeah, to be fair, it's not within the realm of imagination. I really don't need you reassuring these fears. I understand, Scar. But come on. I understand you hate being in here, but we spend time together. Doesn't that make up for it? It does. It does. Yeah, but how do you guys not go crazy on here? I guess we're just used to it. In my early years, my clan grew up in the ship. Your clan? My generation of our clan. It was weird, and the only real time I ever got off of the ship was to go on a hunt. Or really just routine training that required us to go in different environments. Even on Yautja Prime, I myself have only stepped on it a few times, and it's technically where I was born. Really? Yeah. It's just been weird and difficult. I'm used to it, I guess. Hmm. That might be why. I guess I'm just more used to boots on the ground then. Yeah, I guess. Now, Deku, he does get a turn and walk out of the room. As whenever he's doing so, you do have where Deku, he does look back towards the key, telling her that he's gonna go grab a few things real quick. Are you leaving the ship? No, I'm fine. I just need to grab something from the kitchen. Deku going to walk away. As you do have where, while Deku's making his way throughout the ship, he is still trying to think about what might be wrong here. Sure, something is strange, and the yautja, they haven't made a move. Okay, there's that though. That's constantly going to be on his mind. How can he relax with that? how can he just set that aside at the moment like this? Right now, everything's going good. And that's just the problem. Things are good. But this yautja, or maybe even Aki's dad, he could be influencing everything. He could be the reason why humans are supposed to be on edge constantly. This theory holds more ground the way he thinks about it now. The yautja are constantly taught to be on edge for an attack. And right now, he's been that way for the last couple months. Hell, he barely calmed down on that ship whenever he got off the ship. He felt like he just had to be on edge. He almost pounced at everything that looked at him funny. Now, Deku, he does actually go to at least grab something from the fridge and go to pull it out. As whenever he does start to at least suck down some of the nutrient paste, he does go to grab a few other things. Him walking back to the room as he does go to open the door. The moment Deku does open the door, he does look up and see a key, as he does go to somewhat smile before walking inside. Now, we do cut over to the biologist, and or at least the people who do know about the fauna and different things in the environment. Especially because right now they are currently studying unknown alien, well, plants. Now, they've been poking around quite a bit, and they actually are trying to teach a few other humans a few other things about certain, well, plants that may not have been discovered whenever they were still here. And right now they're at least going over about how, oh, this plant here, it seems to share quite a bit of characteristics with, let's just say, a dandelion, a rose, or possibly even, a dandelion, a rose, and a tulip. Now, this is something quite interesting for everyone to hear. As while they're going over different characteristics, you do have where somebody they do spot something strange. As whenever they do go to bend down and look at it, you do have where them and their friend, they actually do come up and somewhat go to start either coughing or sneezing. And that's something that the person they do look towards and find kind of strange. Them walking over and asking if they're allergic to that plant. No, I don't know. Just felt like something got caught in my throat for a minute. I felt like something flew up my nose. Jesus, are there any fucking small bugs like flies on this planet? I don't know. There have been those occasionally weird insects in the air, but okay. Interesting. I wanted to. What did you two look at? Them at least going to turn and point down towards a strange thing. As they talk about how they just got kind of close, and those weird things start to pollinate. Pollinate? Maybe. It just shot something out of it. Did it now? Interesting. I don't have my tools at the moment, but I should come back and look more into this. Especially if humans are allergic to something like this on the planet. It does make sense. A different form of pollination, maybe? No, but they would exactly need to follow the same sort of law in nature. Okay, Doc, if you're done. Oh, God. I feel like my throat's starting to swell. You should probably go see the doctor immediately. I thought you were the actual medical doctor, not me. Both of you. Meanwhile, I'm gonna have to come back later and look a bit more into this. Now, the person they do go to walk away. As these two individuals, they actually are going to go see the doctor. As we do zoom into that strange plant. The one that looks like a bundle of small eggs clustered together, with the tops cut off. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.